In today's episode, we'll explore a powerful question. What am I willing to give up to create space for the success and identity I truly desire? Welcome to Success Reimagined. I am Dr. Amna Shabbir, your host on this journey to thrive at the intersection of ambition and wellness. In every episode, I'll help you challenge outdated definitions of success, discover practical tools and strategies for growth without compromising your well being. I am so glad you've joined me. Let's reimagine what's possible together. We often want new things in lives, new habits, new goals, new opportunities, but we forget that to create something new, we must first make space for it, right? So I want to invite you today to answer this question. What am I willing to give up? What am I willing to let go of in order to make space for the new? There have always been moments in my life where to go outside of my comfort zone, for example, whether it's my fitness goals, whether it's my professional goals, whether it's any other thing that I want in my life, I have to give up something. And I know that I'm not alone. You also have to give up something to achieve something. But we really don't want to face what I call the physics of change, right? If we were to imagine our life as a full glass, we have to pour something out before we get to pour something back into the glass. We have to make capacity and space for what is new. And sometimes that requires letting go, that requires sacrificing. But because we don't really consciously think about it, we stay stuck and we don't create success in a very intentional way. We're really stuck. We're doing this internal fight among ourselves where we're just resisting change. We don't want to give up the old to make space for the new. It is this fear of discomfort. We are attached to a specific old identity, a specific old routine, a specific pattern. And then we also have this myth, right, of having it all without sacrifice, which is just not true. So I'll give an example in my own personal life. I am sure many of you can relate. I am not really an exerciser, or what I would identify in my most of my life as an exerciser who used to look forward to exercising. But I did want the identity of someone who is healthy, someone who has the ability to be mobile and flexible and just be able to enjoy the lived experience of being in my body. And that requires exercise. So what was I willing to give up? I had to give up sitting on my couch, the discomfort of actually moving your body and the pain that happens when you are exercising. It was immense, actually. When I started working with my personal trainer, it was really difficult and challenging in the start. I had to be willing to give up the comfort of not moving, to embrace the discomfort of the movement. So it was a conscious act of I am giving up the old. I am willing to give up this old to make space for the new. So there are other examples as well, and I'll walk you through them as we go along. But first, I want you to start this reflection exercise while you're listening to this. Ask yourself this question. What is one thing I deeply desire to achieve or create in my life? What is one thing I deeply desire to achieve or create in my life right now? Then ask yourself this question. What am I willing to give up to make that happen? What am I willing to give up to make that happen? So I just gave you an example of what would happen for me to have a body that was more comfortable with mobility. That's one health goal that I had. Think about other health goals that you might have. I'll share another one that I had, which was to not eat as much junk food and to eat more nutritiously. That would require me to give up that instant dopamine hit that you get from eating junk food. So that was an act of giving up. So you have to consciously remind yourself that. The other example is in our life, in our career, when we look at success, when we have to leave a safe but unfulfilling job, a job that's burning us out, where we don't feel like we matter or we belong, or there is another passion that we want to pursue, per se, and we are not willing to give up that safety, that security, those shackles around our ankles to create space for the new. So asking yourself the same question, where this is showing up for you in your career. The third is your personal growth, letting go of the need to say yes to everything to protect your time and your energy. I talk about boundaries all the time that you need to preserve yourself. We are often unwilling to embrace that discomfort and to let go of this comfort of saying yes and people pleasing. So I encourage you today to ask these questions to yourself and to write down the answers. Writing is so powerful. And as you try to do this exercise, sometimes a lot of resistance comes up. And this is a lot of the work that I do with my own coaching clients one-on-one, as well as when I'm doing workshops and when we're having these larger speaking engagements, this resistance that comes up to change, we don't want to change. And we're so afraid of giving up our old identities to make space for the new. When I say resistance, some examples of that would be time resistance, allocating time for learning something new or building a new skill. That means you will have to give up some other activity that right now feels very much in your comfort zone, such as binge watching TV. Instead of that, you might have to get up and you might have to actually go and exercise. The second thing is comfort. Pursuing fitness, again, it falls into that. You will have to get up and you will have to go and do something that's uncomfortable. Habits, that's another thing. That's a very real resistance thing. When you have to break old habits like endlessly scrolling on social media so that you can create some time for mental clarity, focus. Maybe you want to go read that book you've been putting off. So old habits will keep resurfacing for you. And lastly, sometimes it's relationships that can be a form of resistance, and we are unwilling to give those up. And that's really hard, distancing ourselves from toxic humans to protect our peace and make space for healthier connections. So as you think about this act of giving up and being willing to create space for the new, I want you to shift your mindset around sacrifice. Can we think about that in a very different light? Or maybe we can just start that process of change slowly. When you give something up intentionally, you're not losing. You're choosing to align your life with your goals and your values. Letting go of one thing, it's not really a deprivation. And that's really what comes up for us. We feel deprived. We're actually creating space for the new. And it's so important to celebrate your gains. So when you are giving up something that seems in your routine, that seems comfortable, it's so much more comfortable to watch TV while you're sitting on your couch. But when you're getting up and you're going and you're exercising and you're creating success for yourself that way, you have to pause and celebrate. And we often completely gloss over that aspect of the journey. When you stop and you celebrate, you signal to your brain that this is an accomplishment, this is an achievement. You create your success loop. Here's an incentive to have a healthier body, having a more aligned opportunity, being more self-confident, being more fulfilled. I want you to take that first step today, just after listening to this. Identify one area of your life where you feel stuck or overwhelmed. Now ask yourself, what is one thing I'm willing to give up today to move closer to the life I want? Even a small step counts. It could be as simple as skipping that second helping of dessert, saying no to that one extra task at work. So ask yourself, what is one thing that you can just do right away? Because success is not about adding more to your life. That's often what we're told. It's about learning to let go of what no longer serves you. And you can clearly define success this way for yourself. So today, I also want to invite you, as you start taking action after listening to this, go ahead and share on social media where you're watching this video. What is one thing you're willing to give up today to make space for your new goals? Share your thoughts, tag me, and I would love to hear your journey. Let's do this. You might believe you don't have the time or energy to focus on yourself, but this is exactly the right time to get serious about your well-being. You don't have to do it all alone. I'm here to help. If you enjoyed this video and are ready to take the next step, head over to dramnashabir.com where you'll find free resources you can access right away. The website link is below. Let's get started on your path to thriving.